Hi, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to a weekly podcast, Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arne and Carlos. And we are, as always, your hosts, Arne and Carlos.
And Freya and Helmer.
Yes, we're all here reunited again.
Big happy family.
Yes, where are we, Arne?
We're in the woods, not far from our house. So we wanted to go somewhere else this time to show you a little bit more of the surroundings.
Yes.
And as you can see, there's autumn colors coming.
Now, and usually, I mean, this is so ironic because usually when we come into the woods, we walk here with our dogs every day, and it's usually very peaceful and very quiet. But we have chosen a day when it's just chaos. There are cars driving in here when it's actually not supposed to be.
One car.
Well, one car. I hear dogs barking on the other side of the water.
Because suddenly there's like people in the cabin over there. Like
Yeah.
Way back in the woods, and we can hear the dogs. So if this
Yeah.
one, especially if Freya gets cranky, it's because
Yeah.
the dogs.
So you know now, you have been warned. She may get very cranky if she hears a dog, or if a car passes by here, she'll get very upset.
And actually, what surprised me is like Helmer was so quiet when he came to us, and he's learning from the best.
Yeah, he's learning
He's
how to bark
learning
now.
from Freya. He's barking on cars. He do a lot of things he didn't do before.
Yeah, that's
so I
true.
guess the owner. I hope the owner are happy when he comes home with new
New habits.
habits.
Yeah, we might be in trouble there. So our weekly podcast is called Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arne and Carlos, but that doesn't mean that you have to sit and knit. A lot of people have been telling us exactly what they're doing while they're sitting with
that's
us. Yeah, and it's everything from quilting to cross-stitch embroidery to crochet to knitting, and really it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you like or nothing.
Yeah, you can drink tea. I have
Yeah, you
stretched
can
out
sit and
for my
knit
tea.
and for a bit with Arne and Carlos. You could sit and make wax candles with Arne and
Wax
Carlos.
candles,
Isn't
that's
that a
a
good
nice
one?
thing to do.
Yeah, there's loads of things you can do, and you don't have to knit. That's the thing. And it would be interesting to know, what are you doing right now? I mean, so tell us in the comments field below whether you're knitting or you're quilting or you're just listening to us. Anything goes. So
Anything.
everybody's welcome to do their thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
We have a
Freya.
sassy Freya. She's starting to bark. Don't bark.
It's probably the moose.
Yeah, probably the moose.
So if you see a moose running behind us,
Then you
It-
know
it
why
could
she's
be
barking.
him
Yeah, I think
or
if you're
her.
gonna bark, you go down. Okay, down. There you go. So previously, Arne, in our lives,
oh, what happened? A lot of things.
a lot of things happen.
Freya came home,
Yeah, Freya, stop barking.
and what else have happened?
Yeah, no. So previously, no. We have to go back to previously in our lives. So previously in our lives, we had a big ordeal with Freya and Helmer. They were getting along too well, if we want to put it that way.
Well, not really, because it's not possible. Because Freya is so small
And he's so big.
So big, so it's more annoying.
Yeah, so they
Than
were. Freya had her thing. Helmer was loving that Freya had her thing. We kept them together for the first, 15 days when nothing can seriously happen. But after that, we sent Freya away.
She needed to take a break.
She needed a break, and
A
so
timeout. Not. I said Freya needed a timeout.
I-
And you thought I said Freya needs food, timeout.
Oh no, not Thai food. Time out.
Timeout.
Yeah, no.
Time
Yeah,
out.
because in Norwegian, Thai mat is Thai food, but it sounds like time out. So
Time
yeah,
out.
no Thai food for Freya, but she needed to go away for a little while.
For a break.
For a holiday. And when she came back, she was really angry with Helmer.
Yeah, he's so confused now. What happened with this girl? She's like so cranky now, and like a few days ago she was so friendly.
Yeah.
More than friendly.
More than friendly.
So he's so confused now.
And now she's not. She's cranky, but they get along well. And they're collaborating now, cooperating, which is a little bit of a thing because we're used to this tiny little dog, and now she has this accomplice who is very tall and who can easily get on top of the kitchen
Yeah.
counter.
He can pick down food for her.
Yeah.
He can open doors.
And it's incredible. I caught them eating from a piece of paper, one of those baking papers that you put in. We had some. I think we baked some kind of a bread or something, and we took the pan out of the oven, and on there was a sheet of paper. We left that, and then I go to the other room, and then I start hearing that sound, and I go into the kitchen, and they're sharing whatever was left on the baking paper, the sheet of baking paper.
You see, life
So-
is never boring.
No, never boring, but they collaborate. So it's not like she's the boss.
She's the boss.
She's the mastermind of all of this.
Can you sit down, Helmer?
Helmer, sit.
Don't
So
Good boy.
this whole ordeal or this whole story with Freya and Helmer has. I think you need to move him a little bit because now the camera is unstable.
Sorry, Helmer, come. Helmer, come.
Okay, try there.
He's not moving.
He's not moving. He found his place. There you go. So anyway, the whole thing with Freya and Helmer, unaware as we were, has caused a very big, well, not a very big, but it's caused some controversy among our viewers. And we have received comments as well as emails, not all of them very positive. And there are actually a lot of people who are upset over
Can you wait a little bit? I have to block her ears.
Oh, yeah.
This is not good news for her.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are very upset of the fact that Freya and Helmer are not spayed and neutered. So I wanted to address this very seriously for just a few minutes before we get into our podcast. And what I want everybody, or what we want everybody to understand, is that we all come from different countries. Our channel is very diverse, and we have viewers from all over the world. And we are in Norway, and things may be done differently in some countries as compared to others, and it's not actually fair or even possible to compare and just think that just because something is done in one way in my country, it means it has to be like that everywhere in the world.
Our way in Norway, no matter, because we are in Norway.
Yes.
So we do it the Norwegian way.
Yeah.
We can't change that,
No.
can we? No.
Anyway, the thing about spaying and neutering in Norway, and actually in many countries in Europe, is that the practices are very different. Norway has some animal welfare regulations which actually make it illegal to spay and neuter dogs here in our country. It means that it's not allowed to put a dog through a procedure like that unless there are very strong medical reasons. And actually here in Norway, if we want a dog spayed or neutered, we have to write a letter and take it to the vet, and the vet has to read that letter, and then the vet will still decide yes or no, and most of the times are going to be no. And we know that there are a lot of arguments, things that speak in favor of or against spaying and neutering, and we know that if you spay and neuter pets that they reduce risk cancers, but it is also an indisputable fact that by spaying and neutering dogs, you will also they will also get other types of diseases because of it. So it is kind of like, there's opinions against and for this practice. But basically, the reason why Freya is not spayed and neutered is because we live in Norway, where it's not allowed. So we legally cannot get her spayed or neutered unless she is unhealthy, unless she has problems, unless her heat is causing her pain and discomfort. If that is not the case, she will not be spayed or neutered by a vet here in Norway.
She didn't have any pain or any discomfort?
No,
She was happy?
She was very happy.
He was more than happy?
Yeah, and we take her to the vet 4 times a year and we monitor her. Now, I also noticed in comments and also in the not so... the very critical emails we got, we also noticed that a lot of people, the main reason why they believe dogs should be spayed and neutered is because of overpopulation and the fact that you have to euthanize so many pets. And again, you have to keep in mind that these things are different in different countries. Now, I went and looked for some statistic, and it turns out that here in Norway, when it comes to dogs, we do not have an overpopulation of dogs, and therefore we do not euthanize, or the dogs are not euthanized in the same way as in other countries. And also, I looked for statistics on animal rescue, animal shelters, and things like that in Norway. And last year, in 2019, 9,000 pets were rescued in Norway and placed into new homes. So 9,000 pets is not as much as...
And you can easily get a rescue dog. We had one.
Yeah, we had a rescue dog
was
one
a rescue
once.
dog. But I think there's something that people are missing. I think we said we're babysitting Helmer for a few weeks or a few days.
That
now
too.
It's weeks. So we're actually babysitting Helmer. So, and we have friends. That's why we took Freya away, because it was kind of very annoying after a while.
Yes.
But we're not having... It's not our dog. We're babysitting another person's dog. It's like if we took him to the vet and did the chop. We will do the next podcast from prison.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah.
Then you will have another background.
So yeah, it is just the way it is. Different cultures, different rules, different regulations. And in this case, it is actually way beyond anything that we can control.
And these two dogs are happy together now.
Yes. So that is the way it is. And it is like that with many things. The beauty of the YouTube channel that we have is that it's so diverse. There's so many people from so many countries and cultures that we can have a wonderful exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
So we would really like to hear from you. What's the situation like in your country? And how do you guys deal with it? So put that in the comments field below. And I already made quite a lot of research, and I can see that there are very, very big difference, even in Europe, from country to country. Scandinavian countries tend to be more restricted with procedures like that, while other countries are more liberal with routinely spaying and neutering pets. Anyway, that was a serious...
But I was walking Freya and Helmer one morning, and then I met a girl in the woods, and she was walking her dog, and I talked to her, and she said she had a female dog. In heat,
yes.
But she also had a male dog at home. So the female dog needed a timeout.
Yeah.
So she was walking in the woods with him. But of course, Helmer, he was very interested. But
usually
that's how things are done.
Yeah, and
you keep them separate if it's too much problem.
Yeah, and here in Norway, usually pet owners are very responsible. So they will, like in the situation like that they were walking their dog, immediately they signaled to us that she was in heat, and if we had a male dog that we needed to back off, which is what we did. We backed off with our dog so that she could pass. It's as easy as that. So,
yeah. And talking about animals, you know what happened this morning?
I have an idea. We're going to be talking about that very famous fox.
The fox has been in the garden again.
The fox is back.
Because my brown sneakers was gone. And they are impossible to find in the garden at this time of the year because everything is brown and gray.
Yeah, those sneakers are kind of like a beige color.
They're a camouflage. Camouflaged.
It's funny because, every time we do this podcast, we're like, we really don't have anything to talk about.
No, we don't.
And then when we sit down, there's like loads of things happening.
Yeah, but I found one shoe and the other one is gone. So when this is over and we done our stuff now in the woods, we have to go and look for my shoes because I don't think he can take it over the fence. So it must be somewhere in the garden. If he doesn't, maybe he ate it.
Maybe the fox ate your shoe.
So
we were
boring.
And it's funny because we were packing the car. We actually drove here because we were going to bring so many things. We're sitting on real chairs. There's a table here. We've got our tea. We've got all sorts of stuff.
And 2 dogs. We can't carry dogs. And furniture.
So we had to drive here, and suddenly, in the middle of packing, Arne just disappears. And I'm like, Arne, where are you? Where are you? I'm looking for you everywhere. And then suddenly he pops up from one of the bushes. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking for my sneaker. I'm like, what? And then I remember the whole fox thing.
Yeah, so he's been back. And what else had happened this week? What exciting things had happened since
So
last night?
I sent files, computer files, to Rowan.
Yeah.
And Rowan opened them.
Oh,
because when I send those files through file mail, they're very detailed briefs with, they've got like sketches, they've got photos of swatches, they've got measurements, they're explaining. It's a pitch that we're doing for magazine number 70, I believe it is. And so I sent them the files, and when I send them through file mail, when they open them, file mail will tell me.
Yeah, so they've seen it already.
On Tuesday, Lisa Richardson from Rowan opened our files.
So now we just have to wait and see if they pick something.
Now we have to wait and see if they pick something. And
I hope they pick a lot.
Oh, me too, because the more they pick, the more we make. That's the way it is, money. But yeah, and I'm following comments on the Sit and Knits because I think it's a great idea. You get one episode, you publish it, you read the comments, and then you answer in the next. And we got a comment on it, or question.
Good, you read them because I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
That's your job.
But we got a question that I found was very interesting and that I'd really love to talk about for a minute.
Yeah, what's that?
So the question is, when you send a pitch to Rowan or anybody else, does it hurt your feelings when something specific doesn't get picked?
Sometimes.
That's the question.
Sometimes.
Really?
If there's like one piece I really believe in and they don't pick it, it's a little bit hurtful.
But then we make a case for why they should pick it.
Yeah.
Right?
But if they don't, but then again, that's part of the game because when you pitch for a magazine, there's like a team, and there's a lot of designers who actually work with the same team.
Yeah.
So you have no guarantee that your piece will be picked, or some of your pieces will be picked, because it's actually part of a collection.
Yeah.
There are separate designers working on the same collection.
Yeah.
So one has to be on top and decide.
So here's my way, or my feeling about that. So we pitch a collection, and obviously we have some favorites and some are not favorites. So you kind of have a portfolio of different designs you make. You send that to Rowan, and sometimes when they return and tell you which ones they've selected, sometimes I'm very surprised that they didn't select a specific design. And sometimes I see and I go, yeah, that's what I would have selected. So it really depends. But then when something is not selected that should have been selected, we can plead our case and explain. But then they will counter and tell us the reason, their point of view. And sometimes it makes sense. And I think that for a designer, you have to be a little bit emotionally detached from all of this. And you need to kind of let it go. I mean, just let it go. You make the designs, you design these things. And then once they go out into the world, they should live their own life. And not all designs have the right to that. Some designs just don't.
It's like with design as with kids. Like you make a collection.
You have favorites? You shouldn't have favorites.
Sometimes
with
you
kids.
have favorites.
Yeah,
but
well, we don't have kids, so
we don't know
wouldn't
nothing about these things. But I heard it's like having kids, because you they grow up and then you have to let them go.
You have to let
they
them
have
go
to live their own life. You can't just hold on to something. And also, like when you do a lot of designs, there's always you have made it already.
Yeah.
You can actually work more on it for another project, or you can use it later. You never know. So it's not done for nothing.
And then there's another thing. I mean, we've done this professionally for 20 years, designing professionally. We also have careers or backgrounds in this. But the most valuable thing I ever learned after we started working as professional designers is just this one basic sentence: kill your darlings. Kill your darlings, darling. Just kill them. And that means, literally, it means that sometimes when you design, if you're putting too much of your feelings and emotions in a design, you become too attached emotionally to them. And then you kind of put them on a pedestal and you treat them like they are the bomb, when in fact they're not. And you have to see that something that you really love and adore doesn't necessarily have to be an amazing design. You have to know that, and you have to be able to very powerfully say, this is out. I love it, but it doesn't work. I love it, but it doesn't fit in. I love it, but I can't use it in this context. And then just chuck it out. Doesn't mean you have to throw it away. You can put it in your special box and keep it there until another time. Yeah. But you kill your darlings, because if you don't kill your darlings, someone will. Someone else will. Yeah. And I mean, we've got an example. We did an amazing sweater for Rowan. It had a zebra in Tarsia and all these black and white design. It was a spectacular design. It was amazing.
If we
may say so ourselves. We love the design. And it wasn't selected by Rowan. And I didn't even ask why. I knew why, because it was a design with too much personality. It was too strong, and it really didn't fit the brief. The brief was monochrome, and even though it was a monochrome design, it was too strong.
It didn't go with the rest of it.
It didn't go with the rest, and it would have overshadowed it completely. So what do? We write to Vogue Knitting magazine and we pitch them the design there, and it got published in Vogue magazine last year.
So we got like 3-4 spreads in Vogue Knitting.
Yeah, so that's the way it works. You kill the darling in one side and then you just use it somewhere else. It's very important to be self-critical in our line of work, because a lot of people are going to evaluate what we do, and if we are too sensitive, they will hurt our feelings. I mean, we've been in trade shows, standing next to our designs, and then somebody would come and point at it and laugh at it, laugh and say that this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And you just have to learn how to deal with these kind of things. It's not about you personally.
No.
So yeah.
That's life.
That's life. So that is, we're good. Rowan, we pitched Rowan 9 designs. If they take 5 of them, we'll be very happy. If we'll take 2, we will be not so happy.
But at least if they pick something, they pick something.
Oh, they will pick something because there's some good stuff there. And then a lot of people are wondering exactly how we do this. Do we knit everything? And that's
We don't
another
have time for that.
No, and that's another thing we want to address. You don't have to be a good knitter to be a good designer. You don't actually have to be a knitter
It's
to
like
be a
I
designer.
don't consider myself as a knitter. I'm a designer.
But you knit well.
I knit well. I know I knit well, and I'm not ashamed of selling that because I
Yeah.
know I'm good at knitting.
But you're a
But
better designer
I'm-
than a knitter.
Are you actually insulting me now?
Well, I'm actually a bad knitter and a better designer than a knitter, for
no,
sure.
but it's different. It's different. Like knitting has always been my hobby. I've been knitting all my life. So,
Yeah.
so that is just something I do. But can't say I'm a knitter.
And here's a story for you guys. This is an anecdote from when we were, when we discovered that we were real knitting designers. This is how we discovered it. So we launched our brand in 2002, ARNE CARLOS. It became an independent brand. It was women's wear originally, and it was like a niche brand, very young, very cool, and it was all wovens. It was all sewn things, dresses, blouses, skirts, coats. Our signature style at the time was very, very cute. We were very cute designs. All our women's blouses had puff sleeves, and we had a lot of exaggerated ruffles and details like that. That was kind of our style.
Where are you going now?
Okay, so
It's the same story I think about.
I think it is. We were doing this from 2002 until 2008 or 2007. And even though we were selling a little bit, it wasn't a very successful brand in terms of sales. However, we got a lot of press, both here and international. Lots and lots of press. It was incredible. It was incredible. But we really didn't hit the market the right way. It wasn't commercial. It was too artistic. It was too cool. I don't know. It was always too something. And in 2006, and in 2006, we decided to add a few knitted pieces. So we went to Dale of Norway, and they actually made our samples for us. And we had these really cool Norwegian style pieces. I think it was 3 pieces in a collection of like 40 styles. And out of those 40 styles, 3 were sweaters, right? And for those years, 2002 until 2008, tell everybody what you were doing professionally for work and what you were doing in the evenings.
For what? 2000 and...
Okay, I'll do it.
I was looking for a moose, so I lost it.
Oh, you're looking out for a
because
moose?
our neighbor saw a moose this morning.
Oh, okay, so we're looking out for moose now. No, anyway, what Arne did professionally, daytime, was designed this line.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings, what did you do?
I was knitting.
You were knitting, yeah. And
I didn't think about the knitting as part of the design in a way.
Did you ever consider while you were knitting that what was your hobby could actually become your work?
No.
No.
Not at the time.
Not at all.
Because that has always been something I've done.
Exactly. So in 2007, I think it was, we went to a trade show in Paris called Who's Next? And we had our collection there. It must have been like a 40-piece collection, and then we might have had like 5 knitted pieces. It's an exhibition where you showcase your products and you get orders from stores. And suddenly it's a designer that we respect quite a lot, or very well. He came up to us to talk about the sweaters. He was very interested in our sweaters. And then a friend of his popped by. They were French. And a friend of his popped by. And then he introduced us in French. And he said, I don't remember her name, but anyway, so-and-so, I would like to introduce to you Arne and Carlos, these 2 Norwegian designers. They make the most amazing knitwear you can imagine. Just look at these pieces.
That's the first time we showed knitwear?
And no. We had it already in 2006.
So
but it's the first time we actually heard somebody say that our knitwear designs were amazing. And we were looking at the knitwear designs as part of an entire collection that consisted of dresses and coats and blouses and this and that. And that moment, something clicked in my head, and I said to myself, wow, here we are trying to sell all this stuff, And actually what people really want from us is our knitwear. And then in the evening, I think I told Arne, your hobby is now going to become our work.
But that's when we looked at this booth in the trade show,
Yeah.
and we said this looks like a flea market because
Yeah.
we have everything.
We have everything.
So we just deleted like. So that's when we started
Yeah.
over.
Then we came back in 2008 with a knitwear collection for men, women, and accessories and kids, I guess.
Yeah.
And after one day at that trade show in Paris, our stuff had been sold to like 200 stores all over the world. We were in shock. We never got as many orders. So we realized that we're knitwear designers. That's what we are
But we
first
didn't-
and foremost.
We didn't sell in Norway because a lot of like Norwegian buyers, they said this is too Norwegian for the
Yeah.
Norwegian public, or it's like when you see the sweater, it looks like it's been in a barn or something. So at that time in Norway, people were very against Norwegian
Yeah.
knitwear because it was too Norwegian.
Exactly, yeah.
But then after the success, they popped up
Yeah.
Norwegian knitwear everywhere, and everybody was a knitwear.
So then
designer.
internationally, we had this huge success with our knitwear, and it was so successful that we landed a collaboration with Rei Kawakubo from Comme des Garçons. She is one of the most cult designers ever to live. She's very avant-garde and very high-end. I mean, her clothes retail for thousands and thousands
She
and
did the
thousands of dollars.
collection showed the collection in Paris, and it was all black.
Yeah, in the 80s.
In the 80s, and that was shocking for the fashion
Yeah,
people.
she shocked the fashion world with a collection that was called by the press Hiroshima chic, which was not a good kind of description for it. It
No.
was shocking. But she's a very influential designer, and we, in the end, with our knitwear, we landed a collaboration with her. We designed a capsule collection for Urban Outfitters. So it was always the knitting, the knitwear that was our strong point, and we didn't even know that when we started designing, when Dale made those first samples in 2006, and suddenly in 2008 we were everywhere.
So we changed.
Yeah,
from-
your hobby became our job.
Yeah, but I still do something.
Yeah,
Like I can do small pieces.
and I can say this about knitting. In my case, I had not knitted much before we went into manufacturing knitwear. Our knitwear was manufactured, was hand loomed or machine made abroad, and I would be responsible for that part. Everything to do with sizing and fitting and fully fashioned sleeves and this and that. That was my job, and it was interesting that I could knit a garment theoretically in my head in a machine, but I couldn't knit one by hand. So
Sorry.
what?
Sorry to interrupt you. I think it's strange we had all these dogs.
Yeah, there's dogs
What
everywhere.
if it's hunting season or something?
Oh
Then
God!
we shouldn't be in the
well,
woods.
if it's hunting season, I've got red. So let me just put this over.
Because normally we don't have that much dogs barking.
You know what? To be honest, I think this is moose hunting season right now. Oh God! And this is the day we decided to go out in the forest. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Look. Okay. So I'm now.
Yeah, now you're visible.
Yeah. Now they can see me.
Luckily I have red.
Yeah.
And I also brought this. Can you want to finish something?
Yeah, anyway,
I interrupt you.
Anyway, the end of the discussion about that is that I learned how to knit, or I picked up knitting again, which I had done as a child, but I picked it up again as an older adult professional knitwear designer. At that time, I felt I had to learn how to knit a sweater because I could make one in theory in a machine, and I could do all the specifications and do everything except knit it. So that's how I learned. So we've got a word of the week. Last week we actually had a word of the week.
But we forgot to say it was the word of the
Yeah,
week.
but we still mentioned the last week's word, which was sølje, SÖLJE, which was
sølje.
the little brooch that you put on your folk costume. And this week, I think that because we're outdoors enjoying some cool weather.
Yeah, so you think about friluftsliv.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the Norwegian word of the week, friluftsliv.
I think that's a big word right now
It's a big word.
because a lot of people in Norway go to their cottages, and
Yeah.
a lot of people actually everybody has to do their vacation at
Mm-hmm.
home. So friluftsliv has become very important now.
Yes. So friluftsliv is all about the outside. So fri, the first word, in Norway we combine lots of words to make one word. So this is one word, friluftsliv. Fri means the same as in English, free, or it can mean outdoors as well. Luft means air, and leave means life. So free air, life.
It's like you're out in the fresh.
Yeah, life in the fresh air. Norwegians are born with an attitude that there is no bad weather, only poor clothing choices. So they push their kids, they push their kids out into the worst weather you can imagine.
It's true.
And you learn the hard way. You know when kids start learning this? When they're like 3 months old. Parents wrap these little babies. They get wrapped in all this wool, and they get like this onesie in wool and a knitted hat.
And they put them in the carriage.
And they put more wool blankets around them. They take them, they put them in the carriage, and then they push the carriage outdoors. And the kids have to sleep there for an hour.
Yeah, if it's like 10 minus or.
Yeah, about 30 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. Pop the kids out in the.
Maybe people get upset now.
Probably.
Maybe we have to go out and tell people you should not put your kids out.
No, but this is part of our culture. It's about being outdoors. There's
But we don't do it. We don't have kids.
No, we don't have kids.
So we can't.
No.
No.
But there's bad. I mean, but that's the point. There is no bad weather. There's bad clothing choices. If you wrap your baby in all these wonderful wools and all these beautiful knitted garments, and if you put them on a nice hat, and then there's a lovely kind of fleece blanket on, and you're like lying on all that gorgeousness of wool,
And the
and then
air
you're
is fresh.
sleeping and you're breathing this wonderfully fresh air. It's actually good for you. At least that's the Norwegian mentality. Now, don't worry, people. We don't do that in restaurants. It's not like we plonk our kids in the carriage and then we leave them outside while we're having lunch. No. We're talking about a balcony in your home, or if you have a garden or a porch. That's how babies sleep in Norway. And from that age, from 3 months old until the rest of your life, that is what it is expected of you, to be outdoors, enjoying friluftsliv, so fresh air life.
And I also brought the bærplukker.
Oh, you have a bärplucker as well?
I brought my bærplukker because since we're in the woods, I was thinking we should go and pick some berries because it's season now.
Yeah.
But if there are some hunting, if the hunting season is on, I don't know if I want to do it today.
You can wear this in your head. It's like,
Yeah, it's red.
here we
orange.
are, don't kill us, please. We're not moose.
Well, you will look like a moose if you put that on your head. So this is a bærplukker.
Yeah, so friluftsliv and bärplucker. Bär means berry and plucker means picker.
Picker.
And
You
this,
put this one like in the grass, and do this.
and
you
this is
collect-
mainly for blueberries.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue here. It's been tyttebær and blueberries.
Yeah, tyttebær is lingonberries.
Lingonberries.
Yeah. So we Norwegians, we just love being outside. And again, please don't, if we have offended you about plonking babies in carriages and pushing them out into the fresh air,
We're like the-
we don't mean it in a bad way. It's actually good for kids to get all that fresh
You
air.
know, we're like the bad, what you call, enfant terrible of the knitting world.
Are we?
Because we do things that people are upset about. Even like the way we knit and what
I
we
don't
do with
think so.
babies or dogs or.
We just come from a different culture where we have different habits, and things are just different. And I think that friluftsliv is a good thing because we're kind of brainwashed from the time we're born. We're brainwashed that we have to spend a lot of time outdoors, and I think that contributes to good health, good mental health. I mean, after COVID and after I started feeling better physically, I was still so drained. And I really felt that this summer, being out in the garden, and now taking those walks with the dog and just breathing fresh air, it cleans my mind. It makes me feel so much better. And then, of course, I get to move my butt. I get my butt out of the chair and I get to walk and move. And that's also good for you. So there's nothing bad about breathing the fresh air, as long as you have fresh air to breathe. It's a good thing.
Do you remember one year when we went out to pick berries, and we were like somewhere on the other side here in the woods, and suddenly we lost the direction of where we were.
Yeah.
It's called døgevill in Norwegian. I don't know the English word.
Well, døgevill is when you just lose the sense of direction.
It's like you can hear cars going, but you hear the cars on that side, but they're actually on that side.
And you don't
start
know what is
walking in
north, what is
circles.
south. Yeah.
That is friluftsliv. Because then you can stay out for a long time.
Yeah.
Because your head is totally messed up. Like one summer, me and my grandmother, we were walking in the woods and picking up the cattle. We were looking for the cattle, and we found the cattle in the wood far away from the out farm. And both of us lost the direction.
Yeah.
And we tried to move the cattle in the direction that we were thinking was the right one. And the cattle, they didn't want to go, they want to go home.
Yeah.
And we were working like for an hour trying to get the cattle in the right direction, which was the wrong direction. So in the end, we just gave up, and my grandmother said to me, I think we are lost. I think the cattle know where they live.
Yeah,
Let's
probably.
follow the cattle.
Yeah.
And we did, and we came home.
And then I remember this time recently when we were both walking the dogs, and we were following a trail, which was the blue trail. So you got these little signs everywhere, or every now and then you see that blue sign, so you know you're on your way.
You have to look for the blue paint.
You have to look for the blue paint on the tree, on whatever. We get to the final place, and then we start walking back. What did you tell me?
Carl, you were like starting walking, and I said, aren't we going home? And then he said, yeah, home is in this direction. I said, no, it's not.
And then he said, I don't think you can walk these trails by yourself.
No. You need to have a cell phone with you, and
Yeah.
maybe bring some cows.
You know, I have no sense of direction whatsoever. No sense of direction. And I think I know why.
Because you grew up in the city.
I grew up in, my first 6 years I lived in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and then we moved to Caracas. And, you know, the first time I was actually able to walk in a street on my own was when we moved to Sweden and I was 12 years old. Before then, I was always chauffeured here and there. Wasn't allowed to find my way anywhere.
I grew up in this environment.
Yeah, you grew up.
I lived behind that rock.
Yeah, like a little troll.
Like a troll. That's why my hair is so
Or no, a
messy.
little elf. Sorry, you're not a troll.
Elf.
You're an elf.
Are my curls coming back?
Yeah. A lot of people have been commenting your curls. What happened to them?
I don't know. It's been a stressful time.
COVID.
Yeah, and a lot of things happening. And I think when I get stressed, my hair gets tired and it falls down. But have I something now? Is it coming back?
Not
If I do
really,
this?
no. No. If you do that, it just gets more frizzy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
no, I think we can easily say that you lost your curls
for a while.
during COVID.
No, I know it's the dry air. Because when we go to places with humid air, I get my curls.
Yeah, and we haven't been to any humid places
No.
recently.
It's been so dry.
Yeah.
So my hair is.
Well, I almost lost all my hair because of
Yeah,
COVID.
but now it's coming back.
Yeah, now I have all this baby hair growing.
So what are we
So
doing?
I'm gonna look like a mushroom in a few weeks. It's gonna be like a mushroom cap.
Should I pull some more things out of my bag, or
Yeah, so
how much time do we have?
oh, we have a little.
All the time in the world?
No, not all the time in the world. But anyway, when you go to friluftsliv, you have to prepare yourself. You can't go out in the woods, without preparation.
So the backpack, the rucksack.
Yes, and
Well,
you
there's
know
a
we
lot of
brought
Norwegian
our thermos so that we can make tea, and enjoying a cup of tea in nature is.
We normally doesn't
friluftsliv.
bring the chair, but that's because we brought the camera, so we had to have something to sit on. There are
Yeah.
a lot of rocks we can sit on, but then you have a problem finding the right distance between a lot of rocks.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe we should get to the point about what else we brought. We got
Yeah.
swatches for you guys to
Yeah,
enjoy.
because we brought the layered color work.
And maybe a
swatches
hat.
And a hat. So this is the swatch from the first Rowan collection, where we
No,
knit
the men's collection.
the men collection for Rowan, and this is where we knit with felted tweed, and we add one.
I think you need to cover up your non-curls.
Yeah, and we knit with one end of the kid silk.
Yeah.
So we work with one base color, and then we put the other color when we need the pattern.
Why don't you try it on?
This is the prototype. It's a little bit big.
Yeah, it is.
At least I
Yeah, you fit
hide
it
my
well. So this is
hair.
this is the layered color work that we have launched. We did it already last year, and for New Nordic Men's, and this year New Nordic Unisex. Now we wanted to bring this swatch, and we wanted to show you the back. Everybody's so interested in what the back of our swatches look like. Before we do you want to show them the?
Yeah, I brought the New Nordic Rowan, the men. This is
Yeah.
the book with the collection we made, and
You want to show them Vegard?
I can show you Vegard. Where is Vegard? This. So this is how it came out,
Yeah.
and we made that.
Yeah, so basically we sent Rowan this plus a lot of different measurements, and Vegard came out. So that's the way it is. It's like magic. We didn't knit the sweater ourselves. Now a lot of people are wondering, what is this technique? What is layered color work? We decided to call it layered color work because we're not native English speakers, and we didn't know that there is another word for what we're doing, which is marled knitting. So marled knitting. Marled knitting means that you take a lot of different strands of stuff, of yarn, and you in different colors, and you knit them to a great effect to create many different colors and designs and stuff. So
What do you call that in Norwegian?
we didn't call it anything in
Nothing.
Norwegian. But anyway, marled knitting is the base for our layered colorwork. Now the difference between marled knitting and our layered colorwork is that we take the idea of the marled knitting, where you knit strands of yarn together to create a marled effect, but then we use it in intarsia or colorwork. So as you can see from this swatch, if you just hold this for me, if you can see from this swatch here, I'm going to get up and show you guys, the technique makes the pattern, the colorwork pattern. This is intarsia, and it's kind of like 8-leaf roses that are disintegrating. And the back is just done exactly like intarsia, as you can see here from the back of the swatch. And as you can see, it's all done with bobbins, and then you kind of attach the yarn or weave it in, creating that effect. So effectively what you're doing when you're doing this technique is you follow a chart, and when you have the intarsia design that you're going to do, instead of releasing the main yarn, which in this case is the gray one, this gray here, you don't release the gray yarn. What you do is you take the mohair, the kid silk haze from Rowan, and you knit the kid silk haze together with the gray yarn, and then that way you create actually intarsia that is much easier than what it would be if it would be regular intarsia.
Yeah, so like if you think it's hard to do color work, if you struggle with those two colors or maybe more colors, this is a good way to do it, because you don't have to struggle at all.
And now it's going to be a little extra work for Anna, but if you look above one of our heads, I think maybe Arne's head, or my head. No, my head. If you look above my head, you will see a little information thing that you can click, and it will take you to the tutorial that we made last year on layered colorwork, so that you can understand a little bit more of how this works. And once you get that idea, you can go and get our new Nordic books. Both this year's unisex has some beautiful designs, and the one last year also has some beautiful designs, if I may say so myself. Yeah, if I may say so myself. So yeah, this is a little bit about the swatch. And when we sent this to Rowan a year ago, and then the designs, they were very happy about this idea. They like it when we kind of try to push borders and kind of make, create something more new and different and exciting, which we hope we've done.
You have to do that sometimes, also for yourself, because after a while it gets boring if you do the same thing over and over and over. So you have to try new things all the time.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so this week we've got a couple of Norwegian words. We had friluftsliv. I'm going to put it down in our blog so you can see how that is spelled. We also had bærplukker, and what was the third one we had?
One more. What was that?
Oh god, my memory is just... Anyway, we've got 2 words that I remember, or that we remember. We're going to jot them down. And last week was sølja. It's in the blog post of last week if you want to
after a while we can do everything in Norwegian, because
everybody's going to understand.
We've gone through all the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. So Arne, we've got a block, a new free block for our knit along.
I have a block in my bag.
And this year, every year, before you show it, I wanna just say something. Every year in Norway, they kind of come up, towards the end of the year, they kind of come up with the word of the year. And I believe that the word of this year is related to this block, because it's a word that we've never... The word of the year, meaning that it's a word that didn't exist in our vocabulary, and suddenly everybody's using it.
A word that everybody uses a lot.
Yeah, like in 2010 when the volcano in Iceland erupted, everybody got ash caught. Askefast was the word then, and it means basically caught because of the ash, and that was a new word in our vocabulary. And now we have a new one, which is
cohort. And
I believe that cohort is also a word that is being used in other countries.
I think it's also in what you call it, Julius Caesar and all these, in Rome, they had these groups of soldiers. I think that's the cool.
It's hilarious.
I'm really not sure what it is.
It's hilarious because the first time we ever heard of a cohort was in April this year when our friend's 3-year-old was going back to daycare and they put him in a cohort. And I was like, what is a cohort?
Yeah. So that cohort was like 4 or 5 kids?
Yeah, and then I had to look it up and it turns out it was all about Roman warfare, like Roman military stuff. I still didn't understand it. So I had to ask the mother, what is this? And then she said, well, nowadays you're grouping these kids in cohorts of 5 and they can stay together and then they won't infect other kids in other cohorts.
So if there's like some sickness, you keep it in that small group so it's easier to fight.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason.
So anyway, cohort is probably the new word in Norway. And I'm sure it's the new word in your country too. If you use cohort, let us know in the comments below.
Maybe you have another word.
If you've never heard of it, just look up cohort on Wikipedia and you'll get the whole thing there.
So we made a cohort square.
Of 4 people.
This is a little cohort.
Yeah.
It's made out of 4 people.
And in my opinion, either these people are having a lot of fun in their cohort or they're going a little cray-cray.
They're dancing.
Yeah.
Look,
either that or they're going cray-cray. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Crazy.
Yeah, because they're from old patterns.
Yeah.
It's like dansebord
Yeah.
or kjerringbord. We don't do more Norwegian words now.
No.
This is a small cohort of 4 people.
But to me, either they've been stuck together for too long and they're just...
They went cray-cray.
Or they're just having a lot of fun because their cohort
They're
is
having
fun.
fun.
And maybe that's the cohort we should try to get into.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If they want 2 more.
Yeah. So anyway,
This is the square of the day.
this week's block
block.
is the cohort. And we're going to show you guys here, like this. And then if we turn it around, because everybody wants to see what our back looks like, it looks like this. And we don't really care what it looks like because, once we finish the blanket, it's going to be lined anyway, one way or another.
We probably make it double. Make more work for ourselves because we have a lot of leftover yarn, so we're not going to stop for a while.
Exactly.
The sun is coming.
The sun's coming. So a lot of people are going to be asking, where can I get this? Where can I download this free block? And the answer is go to arnecarlos.com, our website, select our blog from the menu, and then look for Sit and Knit for a Bit, episode 4. On episode 4, you will see a photograph of this. If you click on that photo, the chart will download automatically. And if you continue reading the post till the end, you will find links to all our other charts. We've done over 30 of them now. And they're all available there, clickable, they're free. And, the more people who join our knit along, the better.
Yeah.
So, great block. I love it.
Great block.
I love this block.
Thank you. You can stitch it on your sweater.
Yeah, maybe. So, this has been a great, lovely time together with you guys.
In the woods.
In the woods. We are getting a little bit afraid because I keep hearing dogs and, all of a sudden there'll be hunters coming out of the trenches, and we don't want to be shot, do we?
Or a moose running away from the hunter.
Yeah.
I think we should go back now.
I hope the moose runs fast.
You should do the formal things.
We'll do the formalities.
I think I've looked a little bit scared through the whole podcast because I've been looking around.
Yeah, you're like this.
Yeah, I'm always like this because I don't want to meet the angry moose.
But we've got 2 dogs here to protect us.
I don't think the moose is afraid of this.
No, but the fact is Freya is not afraid of the moose either, the way she chases him. So
I think the big one is more afraid.
Well, yeah, he's a sweetheart though, isn't he?
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah, Helmer is staying with us just temporarily. He will keep us company for a few more weeks. So the formalities are, okay, one thing, we passed 100,000 subscribers last week and, we're celebrating with merch. So there's also a link down below here if you want to get mugs and t-shirts, and we're going to do hoodies as well.
Oh, we're like big business now.
Yeah, we're planning on lots of merchandise for our channel. And if you opt to buy some of our merch, not only will you have beautiful t-shirts and mugs, but you're actually supporting the production of our films or of our YouTube channel, which we thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Other ways to support, of course, is by becoming a subscriber. The family of ARNE CARLOS has now passed 100,000, and we're looking forward to the next 100,000. The more subscribers, the more YouTube will support us.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to support us. Turning on your notifications by clicking on the bell means you get notified of episodes and you never miss anything. We usually post on Wednesdays, we do the podcast, and then Sundays we've got regular tutorials. And what else? Yeah, and if you like the episode, give it a big thumbs up.
But Carlos now.
Yeah, so next Sunday we are going to be showing you what a nøstepinne is.
Yeah, Arne
So-
and Carlos is doing things they've never done before.
Yeah, so that'll be on Sunday. That'll be a word for you guys to keep in mind. And we'll be back on Sunday with our nøstepinne and see if we can manage to figure it out ourselves. We are a little bit like lost.
I saw a translation on nøstepinne. It was nest stick.
Nest?
A nest stick.
But nøste means to wind.
You know, neste is a ball of yarn, and the nest,
Yeah.
that's like a reir.
No. Nøste is a ball of yarn, yes, but nøste can also mean a verb to wind up the ball.
yarn.
It's both.
But it was translated from English or into
To the nest,
The
yeah.
nest.
Like a bird's nest.
bird's nest.
So we'll see.
So a
We'll,
bird's nest and a stick.
yeah.
This is a ball of yarn and a stick. But Carlos, I think it's time to leave because the dogs are getting closer.
Yeah, and we'll let you decide next week what a nøstepinne is. Birds are getting closer. We need to pack up and get out of here before we are in the middle of the fire line. So thank you so much for watching.
But we
us.
don't know. Maybe this is maybe something in our head.
I don't know.
It's better to be safe than
Better to be
sorry.
safe than sorry. So see you again.
See you next time.
Same time next Wednesday. Looking forward to that. Bye.
Say bye.
Oh, Helmer, come on.
Oh, knife. Don't be angry at him.
Bye. Bye. Helmer says bye.
And this is goodbye.
Okay, let's pack and get out of here
Yeah.
now.
Dette gjorde bra.